no mercy. Harry and Meghan cry in despair as Charles cut them off financially, no money for traitors. Things don't seem to be going Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's way at the minute. Shortly after a seemingly tense day at the polo last week, the couple received news that one of their marquee projects, Pearl, an animated children's show for Netflix, had been left on the streaming service's scrap heap. Sources say Harry and Meghan were informed that part of their lucrative deal had collapsed long before the rest of the world found out. At the time, reports circulated in the UK that Harry, 37, and Meghan, 40, had pleaded their case again to become part-time royals. It was originally denied when they decamped to America in 2020 and announced they planned to become financially independent of the monarchy. If they knew this Netflix shake-up was coming, they would have been in panic mode before they went to England, says a palace source. Their content deal with Netflix is the bulk of their income and a major reason they can afford their $20 million mansion in Montecito, not to mention the eye-watering property taxes that go with it. Our insider says Prince Charles, 73, remained reticent to give in to the couple's wish for a hybrid role, in which they'd earn money privately and use crown income. He believes it would put the monarchy at risk of backlash over conflicts of interest. Charles is still stinging over Harry's very public claim that he cut them off, which wasn't true, says a source. To have them come back, cap in hand, was incredibly frustrating for Charles as future king and as a father. Now that the Netflix news has come out, he's starting to suspect their motives are more driven by money than a true willingness to heal their family problems. I can't see Charles handing over a single penny. Meghan still has a lucrative podcast deal with Spotify launching next month, while Harry's documentary about the Invictus Games remains on Netflix's slate, a fact that leaves Charles feeling nervous. The Sussexes will be desperate to keep these projects afloat, or their American dream will be over, explains a source. It is finally dawning on them that their real worth to viewers or listeners comes from spilling royal secrets, aka their truths. And the concern is they'll double down on that to keep their lucrative deals in place. And if they do, any chance of Charles opening up his wallet will fade. The Crown's new season wasn't as bad as King Charles was expecting, in fact, it was worse. Not because Netflix has portrayed the monarch as a philandering, heartless husband intent on betraying his ex-wife and mother, which the 74-year-old had braced himself for, but because the king's suspicions over his wayward son have been confirmed. Insiders reveal Charles, now more than ever, suspects 38-year-old Harry, who is on Netflix's payroll, might have had an unofficial sway on the headline-making drama and its controversial storytelling. While the Duke of Sussex and his wife Meghan, 41, have failed to produce their own Netflix docuseries, reports claim they pocketed an eye-watering $100 million from the streaming giant, cementing them as a very powerful part of the business. Having now watched the show, Charles is convinced that Netflix had help from him, shares a palace source, who points out that Prince William is dragged into the show's plot in such a gratuitous way, but Harry's character is exempt except for a bit of light relief. Insiders say the show's inclusion of subtle hints that the royal households briefed the media against each other is a telling sign Harry was involved, given it was one of the prince's many gripes about palace life. Not to mention a scene in which Diana tells the Queen she gave the BBC an interview, which is not unlike how Harry told his grandmother he was telling all to Oprah, says the sources. For Charles, insiders say it's the single most devastating act anyone could have taken against him. If it's true, it's basically treason, says one outraged palace insider. Harry was still around when the series began in 2016, and he knew how damaging it has been to pretty much every single senior family member so far, except, it seems, himself. Except,